Yep.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, national champion, multiple time head coach of Texas, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider.
Yeah.
Nobody
yeah.
talks about it. His mic's
Slinging
off
it.
again. Hold on.
There it is.
And Saskatchewan Rough Rider. We did not know that till this morning. We looked it up. Dog. Absolute
about
dog.
that?
Legend.
Underappreciated as a. Now, let's talk. As you guys were talking right there about Julio Jones being a beast, he said, I got a Julio story. And he started, I'm like, I want to hear it on air. You coached Julio.
I coached Julio for 2 years in Atlanta, and it was 2018. We're going into week 17. We're playing in Tampa. Okay.
Your face. You're too handsome.
Yeah, week 17 in Tampa. We're not going to the playoffs. We're ineligible for the playoffs. Antonio Brown decides not to play week 17. So Julio has won the receiving crown. He's the leading receiver in the NFL. He decides to play. It's a tight game. We're behind, and we're trying to get into field goal range right there at the end, and we're going to run the ball. This guy's won the receiving title. He's already got 100 yards in the game, and we call an outside zone, and he push cracks his safety and knocks the guy out with a minute to go in the game.
Julio.
Hey, with a minute to go in the game, gets called for a 15-yard penalty for hitting the guy too hard. Okay, which is
too tough.
Yeah, hitting him too hard. So now he's got to go make a play on third down again, which he converts that again, and then we kick a field goal and win. I mean, that would just epitomizes who that guy was.
So coming out of high school, he was the same guy. Hey, sounds like we need to pay a little bit more respect to Julio Jones.
Yeah.
I think all of us and the boys back in Indianapolis are very thankful that you joined us, Sark. We did not expect this. Obviously, day before this big of a game. I guess you're just used to this, though. This is what Texas has become now, and I think you were obviously hired to do this. There was a lot of hype. Can anybody win at Texas? There's so many people, maybe so much money, so many people talking. Is Texas ever going to be able to win in this modern day? You've come in and done that. How has it been here at Texas, and how excited are you that the program is where it is right now?
It's been amazing. It's definitely been a journey. People forget we were 5-7 in year one.
Yeah.
And we were losing. We had the lead. We lost 6 straight games. We had the lead in the second half of every one of those 6 games.
Heartbreaking.
So we had to learn how to win. Then we get 8-5. After year one, we have 0 players drafted in the NFL draft. We go 8-5 in year 2. We have 5 guys go. Bijan goes in the first round. In year 3, we go 12-2. We're conference champs. We make the college football playoff. We break the school record. We have 11 guys drafted, and now we're in year 4, and we're playing pretty good football. We're in the SEC. It's been a blast, man.
And we're protected, obviously, as something's happening somewhere. I think the president is potentially moving, or that might be Nick Saban.
It's probably Nick Saban, for sure. The guy goes nowhere without a police escort.
Okay, so let's talk about Coach Saban. Obviously, you and Kirby both have come through the Nick Saban Coaching University. What did you learn there? What have you tried to institute here in your own program? And what do you know about Kirby because of the time that you were at Saban?
Yeah, so a couple things is, one, I had been kind of raised by Pete Carroll. And so there was this whole coaching style of the Pete Carroll, the loose, the fun, but yet driven, focused, and guys, he was a national champ, Super Bowl champ. And then I get with Nick Saban, and it's like, boom, we're going to operate in this box that is not very big. But what I learned is these guys coach to their personality, and who they were was naturally how they coached, and their teams took on their personality. So what I took out of it was, when I got this job here, was, okay, who am I? And then how do I want our team to be? And so I think I've got a lot of Nick Saban in me. I think I've got a lot of Pete Carroll in me, and morphing those two things together into our team has been big. Kirby, the one thing I know is they're going to play great defense, and they're going to be intense, and they're going to play hard. They're going to be physical. They've recruited great. Georgia really has been the standard of college football now for about the last 6 or 7 years. I think they've been to 6 SEC championship games, 3 national championship games. So it is what it is. They're going to come in here. They're not going to be afraid of 105,000. They're going to come ready to play.
Feinbaum said they lose to you, it's over for them though forever. So
that's a typical Paul.
Yeah, but Kirby didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Kirby didn't hear that.
That's a typical Paul quote. It's just this. It's 0 or it's 100. There's never anywhere in between.
Let's talk about 0 to 100. Big 12 obviously is West Virginia's conference now. You know that. You don't have to say anything more. Coming into the SEC.
Yep.
Okay, you have history obviously in the SEC. Georgia SEC matchup here in October. This is massive. And then you got a bunch of games still left that are not going to be easy. How do you feel about the SEC and Texas being together?
But to me, that is the SEC. It's like people want to get up for one game. In this conference, it's not about one game. It's surviving all 8 and what that looks like. And it's week in and week out, and the mental intensity that you have to have every week, but yet the physicality and the depth that you have to have on your roster to endure what an
exposed,
SEC.
right?
Oh my gosh, will you quickly. And we've seen it already in this conference. I mean, some really good teams have gone down that people were probably surprised by.
Yeah, a lot of depth, too. I mean, shout out to Vandy. This ain't same old Vandy.
Yeah.
Heck no, it's not.
It is not. And let's talk about that. NIL, transfer portal. Obviously, you've had success with that, and
Yeah.
you're going to have to in the modern era. How do you feel about where we are in college football right now and how it applies to your team?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say this about college football. I think from a popularity standpoint, we're at an all-time high, man.
All-time- hey,
we're at all-time high, baby.
College football is
It's
winning.
amazing, man.
And showing up every week.
It's amazing. I think this new playoff is going to be incredible for college football. But I also think we have to continually adapt as programs, right? Times are changing, right? NIL has changed, revenue sharing coming, what that's going to look like, conference realignment. And we've been preaching that all along. It was something I got from Coach Saban, adapt or die. There's a reason dinosaurs aren't on the earth anymore. They didn't adapt. And so
Stupid dinosaurs.
yeah, they didn't adapt. And so
Check out Wi-Fi.
we've tried to adapt to the times and use some of the new things to our advantage, but yet not lose sight of it, holding true to who we are and what we're about.
Before the boys have questions back in Indianapolis, and once again, I can't thank you enough for taking time here. The Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers conversation brewed quickly.
Yes.
I was a part of it.
Yeah.
So I apologize for
That's okay.
adding even more into it. I've known Arch since he's a little boy.
Yeah.
I've seen Arch since he was just a little boy. Probably smaller than the size of Cooper's hat last week.
How about that hat,
was awesome.
man? Where did he that's a fair hat all the way.
Listen, Cooper's one of the greatest humans to ever exist.
Yeah.
I mean, just him being a part of it all is fantastic. But like the amount of depth you just have across the board
Right.
at all positions is huge. It's going to be huge for the SEC football. When Arch comes in, plays the way he does, when Ewers gets hurt, he leaves. There was never a doubt by you or from basically the Manning family or anybody. Everybody was rowing in the same direction. This is Quinn Ewers' team. This is Quinn Ewers' team. How do you think Quinn has handled it, and what do you expect out of Quinn on this massive stage with Georgia?
I give both those guys a lot of credit for how they've handled this. I think Arch is Quinn's biggest supporter. And when Arch was playing, I think Quinn was his biggest supporter.
Dope.
And that's a really cool sign of a great team, right? And the teammates that they are and the way they support one another. It's not easy when the backup goes in and he might get a louder ovation than you get as the starter.
Name's Manning.
Yeah, I mean, it just
that's
is.
gonna
It just
happen.
is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think the acknowledgement of that, understanding the situation, those guys, like I said, supporting one another, I think has been huge. One thing I know about Quinn. Big games come, that guy shows up, and he's played really good football for us in all the big games we've been in, and obviously we've got a big one here tomorrow. I expect that guy to show up.
I can't wait to watch your team. AJ has a question for you back in Thunder.
Yeah, hey, Coach, obviously huge game tomorrow. I'm just wondering, whatever the last thing you say to your team as a group before they head out, is that something you plan? Is it more organic? Like, do you have any idea what you might say now? I'm sure people ask you this as like a cliche question and everything, but I'm just wondering how much time you actually put into that, or do you just want to go off the top of your head?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of both. We have some themes throughout the week that we try to get to. But ultimately, the one thing I always try to remind our team of when we take the field is go be us. Like, we don't have to try to go be something that we're not. We've got a certain style in which we like to play the game. We've got a certain swagger in which we try to take the field with and go attack the game that way. I think when we're loose and we're confident and we're believing in what we're doing, we're at our best. And so that's what we try to go do.
How much is McConaughey channeling the power of the sun on the sideline?
Yeah, the minister of culture.
How's that helping
yeah.
the team every single week? That's got to help.
I think it's great, and Matthew's been an amazing supporter of Texas football for a long, long time. And so through the good times, through some of the tough times, that guy's been there and supporting this thing. And so him being on the sidelines, I'm sure there'll be a few more. I think Durant's showing up tomorrow.
KD's gonna be here.
KD's going to be here. He's a big Longhorn football
Yeah,
fan.
he
there.
paid for the practice facility, I think, for the basketball team.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
a brand new one.
Yeah, so, games like this, they all come out, but I will say this about Matthew McConaughey. It doesn't matter. It's week in and week out. That guy supports us.
Yeah, he was in Michigan. I think he was sick. He almost didn't make kickoff.
Yeah, he was there though. He was there. He was at the Cotton Bowl last week. I mean, that guy, he's definitely here supporting
I
us.
saw him in Michigan on the sideline, and I had not known because I didn't have service because there are so many humans and phones need to figure it out. So I couldn't get any text messages or any update. I guess he was really close to missing kickoff. And I guess it was because he was very sick. I guess they were kind of running some tests on him more. Not like, I think it was flu, COVID, but whatever it was. He gets there and I go, God, you look so good. He goes, I've lost like 10 pounds in the last 24 hours, brother. And I'm like, okay. And then he turned around, I was sick, I almost didn't make it, but I'm here, And I'm like, great to see you. And then he turns around immediately, you guys got a first down, and he's the loudest on the sideline at first. His energy is just so infectious, man.
How about last year during the Bama game, you guys are standing right there, and the touchdown to Worthy right in front of you guys. It's a great shot,
and
man.
his genuine happiness, pure joy for how big of a star he is. What a weapon for your team, but also just Texas as a whole. He loves the university. I think a lot of people do, which is a weapon for you. I've been looking around the stadium.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So where's our loud? Because these look real nice over here.
Down there. That corner, students.
Loud. Very.
That's where it's at.
How's
and
the
there's
light show?
orange smoke. Well, the drone show is going to go up tomorrow.
Ooh.
In between the third and fourth quarter, we'll have a drone show up right off the east side of the stadium.
We got fireworks
going tomorrow. We'll have a light show going on. We'll have orange smoke. All sorts of stuff's going on tomorrow.
All right, we're 20 seconds until a hard out on ESPN. We'll continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, TikTok Live, and every other social media platform. This is Coach Sarkisian. He's the head coach of the Texas Longhorns. They take on the Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow. College Game Day will be live at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Their fans going to show up?
They'll be here. They'll be here, man.
See you on Monday. Look, we just hit that hard out right there. Sir.
I love that. I love that.
We did
Big time, brother.
That's good. We're still live, though. We are still live, Coach. We are still live. Let's make sure.
Yes.
Let's not give away any strategic or anything like that.
You got the Luke Casey hat on. I like that.
So Parker McCollum, you know who he is?
Yeah.
So he's Texas music boy.
Yeah.
He wears this hat, gave me this hat. And as I was packing this morning, early morning, Coach, flying down here. Early. Texas is much further than people give it credit. It's a 2.5-hour flight here.
Big state.
From Indian. Big state. Big state. A lot of people. This morning I wake up, I say, you know what? This is in tribute to Parker McCollum, that super handsome Texas son of a bitch who sings the hell out of some songs. So I put it on because I feel good in Texas. I love this state. Great place.
Hey, so we got a shirt we wear around here that I think is kind of fitting for you and your show. All right, and some interpret this differently than others. Okay, you can interpret it however you want. Okay, but our guys believe in that mantra around here. Okay.
Fast as fuck.
Fuck around, find out. Fuck around.
I didn't know if we just had super speed. You're talking about. Okay, we're finding out. A lot of people are finding out.
Yeah.
I love this.
Oh, with the horns in the back.
Yeah, it got the horns in. I don't want to be upside down.
Yeah.
I apologize for doing that.
That looks good on you, man.
Yeah, dude. Faff.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, AJ. AJ, why don't you faffo one time, buddy?
Bitch.
That's pretty
Why don't you
sweet.
faffo? Faffo one time.
Is that like your
Appreciate
off-season,
it.
off-season mantra, Coach, or is that just who came up with this one?
We kind of adopted that last year, and it's kind of just continued to carry over, man. So we bought into that one, and so
Got to be a tough team, right?
Gotta be,
Everybody talks
man.
about football being like highlights and offensive heavy and yada, yada, yada. You have to be a tough football team. I think not everybody, some people have forgotten that, I think, in 2024.
Well, the other saying we have, you have to choose violence. In football, you have to choose violence, because if you don't, you're probably going to get beat.
Hell yeah.
Tone Diggs has a question for you back in the Thunderdome, pal.
Yeah, Coach, you guys currently have the favorites for the O-line to win the Joe Moore Award, which is the top O-line in the country. How nice is it calling plays when you got that Texas beef up front?
Yeah.
It's huge, man. We've got two elite tackles, in my opinion, but I think both those guys are first-round picks. But the thing that we got a 4-year starter at center. And how valuable is a center, not only on your offense, but on your team? Because those guys, the offensive line is always the personality. It starts to kind of shape your locker room. Everybody wants to talk about the DBs and receivers, but when the O-line's got that camaraderie, when they've got that personality and that confidence, I think that permeates throughout the team.
I saw them walking down here. I don't know if you know this, Bert Austin and specialists were sitting over here there for a bit during the program. Your team walked down here. I don't know if you had a walkthrough or what was going on. Some of them had some food, looked like they were eating well. They were all super confident. The big boys walked through and they did
They brought the boom.
Yeah, they
brought the boom to you.
Guns out.
Yeah, they bring the boom.
Yeah.
They do the entirety of it. Ty Schmidt has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, just curious, is there anything that's you've noticed, like in terms of your coaching philosophy or the way you go about things, that has changed over the last few years now that you guys really have rolling, that maybe, say, 5 or 6 years ago you'd say, like, oh, that was a little bit of a deficiency in my coaching style, but now that's something I've really excelled at?
Yeah, I want to give Coach Saban a shout out on that. That was in my time at Alabama. The one thing I learned was the level of consistency he approached every day. And you guys are probably seeing it even when he comes on the show. He is so diligent.
He was late this morning to the meeting.
No way.
Oh,
I didn't say it.
Oh my gosh. But anyhow,
Find him.
that was something for me that like I used to kind of jump around as a young head coach. And then my time at Alabama was a level of consistency. Whatever your consistent looks like, I think that puts everybody in the organization, puts every player on the team kind of at ease, knowing there's a level of consistency from the top that, okay, we're going to be okay because it's the same. All right, we're not varying, we're not jumping around. That there's a level of consistency to it that I think Coach Saban, to me, he was consistent to who he was. Finding out who I am, and then finding my level of consistency, I think puts everybody else at ease.
Well, that's what he said about you, actually, is that you're always like this. He was like very appreciative of the fact that you're always like this. He told a story, I think, maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Waddle maybe got hurt.
Yeah.
And it was national championship, right? Waddle was hurt, and I think he asked a question about what we're going to do, and you're like, don't worry about it. We're completely okay. And then obviously you go out and dominate. It's like he said you were always like a reassuring voice on the offensive side. Do you continue that today in how you kind of treat every single adversity that potentially pops up with your team?
We really do. We almost welcome some adversity because I think that's when we find out about ourselves, and then when we see how we respond to it, that helps for adversity down the road.
Have you faced enough this year, you think? Because that is one question going into this game, people.
No, it is. And I mean, I guess if there's a question you'd like to have about your team, it's that.
Yeah. Hey, have we really struggled at all yet?
Yeah, I've tried to generate some of that. I think the first quarter at OU last week was good for us. That the fact that we have 3 drives in a row, it's 3 plays, and we have 13 yards, but then we found out our defense could kind of hold down the fort until the offense got going. So I think adversity is good for you because life is 10% what happens to us, 90% how we react to it. And so our reaction to that adversity, I think, is as important of anything.
Connor has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned your record the first few years when you were at Texas, and obviously now you guys are rolling, have been the last 2 years. What do you kind of look for in players when you are recruiting them to bring your guys in, per se? And has it gotten easier now that you're in the SEC and you got Arch Manning? It's like, hey, I got Arch fucking Manning, bitch. Everybody wanted him. I got it.
What people forget about Arch, I don't know if you've ever seen any of the pictures. When he was a kid, he was wearing Texas shirts.
Yeah,
Texas jerseys.
Obviously.
This
and that's
was
why you guys went to the SEC, because Archie said he's only going to an SEC school. So that's what happened.
You can say that.
I'm joking.
No, but I think that obviously we all want to recruit big, fast, physical people, right, and talented people. One thing we've held on to is we never sacrifice character for talent. We always try to hold true to what our culture is and who the person is as much as who the player is, because we value our culture so much that I think our makeup of our team, there's a lot of talented players in our locker room, but they're really good dudes. And these guys like to, it's a want to, not a have to for them. They love being great teammates to one another, and I think it shows in the way we play.
Yeah, and it definitely showed in the way they walked across this field. I'm telling you, it was a connected bunch, feeling good. Speaking of feeling good, I heard you're a Dodgers fan?
I'm a Dodgers fan.
Let's go.
I know.
There's a chance.
There is a chance.
What do you think? You think you're there?
Well, I value that they're loaded, first of all.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
and they're hitting the ball right now. When they're hitting like that, it's a pretty good omen.
Baseball, one year that was.
I went to college as a baseball player.
Did not know that.
I went to USC as a baseball player, transferred back to junior college and played both sports, and then went on and played football at BYU.
What were you, pitcher?
Pitcher, shortstop. Wasn't good enough. Couldn't throw hard enough. Couldn't hit a slider. It was all bad. But you never know until you have to hit that slider, right? And you're like, wow, that thing moved and it was fast.
Maybe we'll go to JUCO football. Maybe we do football again.
Yeah. Let's go back to football. And see if I can be smart enough to throw to the fast guys and let them run and catch.
Hey, we appreciate the hell out of it. The LA Dodgers, I guess Yankees is probably what it's going to be. Is that, or the Guardians going to come back, Ty?
No. Last night was a fun little story, but we're going to get the matchup everyone wants. We're going to get Dodgers-Yankees.
Teammate at USC in baseball, Aaron Boone.
Pretty good manager, even though they were trying to run him out of town. Aren't you guys trying to fire him?
Yeah, and if he doesn't win this year, the sentiment will be the same. Get him the fuck out. He needs to win.
This is his
teammate.
Who doesn't want a Dodger-Yankee World Series? I mean,
Cleveland.
I get that. No offense to Cleveland, but in all reality, we all want an LA New York World Series.
I mean, it'll be big, especially with
Yeah.
Shohei bringing the numbers that he's bringing. They said like 12 or 13 million people watching Japan.
Incredible.
That's the biggest number that they've had ever for a postseason game.
Incredible.
Can't wait to see what tomorrow's number is. Your team is must watch, as is Georgia. Thank you for stopping by. I think you're stopping by game day tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, I can't
Hi,
wait
brother.
to watch your brain
Appreciate
unfold
you,
in
man.
front of the Zotron. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Texas Longhorns. Also a man who lets the whole world know you can.
Yep.
I don't even know if you can replace that one with any other word.
Funk, maybe?
Oh, get the funk.
Out of my face. Get the phone. Out of my face.
Out of my face. Yeah, funk around and find out for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Sarkisian.
Yeah.